What is up, guys? This is the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1,
and we're back to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer your questions. If you want your question answered for next week, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those first. So this awesome question comes from Samurai Matt 3000. He asks, what 40K race do you completely hate? Well, first let's answer, what race do we think everybody in the Warhammer 40K community hates?
Tau.
Tau,
Yeah.
Your lovable Tau are
right.
most hated.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I think the hate, or the reason why everybody hates them, is because they don't like the weeboo stuff. Which I learned from you guys. Weeboo means anime lover, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't like that in the grimdark future.
Yeah, also they seem to be like the good guys, and they don't like that when it's supposed to be all, again, grimdark. But they're not really good at all.
Right. Now let's get to what races we hate.
I personally hate the Imperial Guard. I never liked them to begin with. I thought they're just regular humans. They don't deserve a place in this epic fantasy sci-fi world. But over time, I could see why we need them. I still don't like them, though.
I absolutely hate the Gene Stealer cult. I feel that GW brought the Gene Stealer cult out, and it was a cop-out to just rearranging the Tyranid Codex. Because we all knew that even at that time, the Tyranids needed work. But what GW said instead is, no, we're going to throw you this race that kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's just a bunch of construction workers, or mutant construction workers. Yeah. And yeah, I don't like that. Mm-hmm. I don't think they should exist.
Now, if they did like I guess kind of a fusion army, like Tyranids mixed with Orcs, have that as like a squad, or Tyranids mixed with like Necrons, something like that.
Exactly, that would have been awesome.
Yeah. But it's just like, oh, here's regular people who have been converted to like mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
not cool. Yeah. Not cool, GW.
That's right.
Next question.
Ethan Warner, how would you go about making an Imperial Guard army that can take on most factions? Tanks, yeah. Tanks, flyers, that's going to be your best friend. Or if you want to make it really annoying for both yourself and the opponent, just do a huge blob of infantry, man. It's going to take forever to kill all of them. It's going to take forever to move. And it's going to take forever to paint.
Yep. The War on Truth. Who would win, the Galactic Empire or the Imperium? The Imperium.
The Imperium.
Next question.
Stuford 2002. Have you, or do you know anybody who has played Warhammer 40K under the influence of crack cocaine? No, not that I'm aware of.
Not crack cocaine.
There's other influences.
Yeah.
Just not that one.
Orco Feroz. Now, with the hype of Dawn of War 3, who think it's the Primarch of the Ravens? Who do you think is the Primarch of the Ravens? Because now they become canon, or just they are part of the game, not more, not less. So who do we think the Primarch is of the Raven, the Blood Ravens?
Magnus the Red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a little bit of snippets here and there that kind of hint at Magnus and the Thousand Sons being their, I guess, Father Legion, if that makes sense?
Yeah. No, what is it called? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that. So it's most likely than not Magnus.
Yeah. And I don't think the Dawn of War 3 storyline is gonna expand on that, though. I think they're gonna try to make it as simple as possible to get new people into the game. Yeah.
This one is by. That's not a good one.
I have Alex Pokorski. It's a long one. Oh, it's a super long one. Do you think that Gilliman will break off from the main Imperium to form his own Imperium type of territory? Or would he reform the Imperium, like kill off the Church and the Inquisition?
Ooh.
By the way, you should make a video explaining the rules of tabletop game to the new kids, because I tried to explain it to my girlfriend and my friends. They gave me weird stares. So I proclaimed them heretics and might have killed them. Anyways, how-to tutorial for the tabletop, please. Also, maybe like a good place to hide a body.
No. There's no better place to hide a body than inside yourself. So eat them.
Okay. Yeah. Now to answer your question about Gilliman, will he reform the Imperium?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
It's going to be reformed in the shape of a new crusade, and he's going to be basically gathering all of the forces of the Imperium and going out to push back chaos.
So another great crusade.
Basically.
Yeah. He's not going to go back and try to fix the... You don't think he's going to like do anything with the High Lords of Terra?
No, not right now. I feel like even though the Imperium's not where it should be, you know, based on the Emperor's desires, Gilliman knows that right now, even if the Imperium is kind of effed up, it's better than having no Imperium. So he's going to go out there and fight chaos.
Yeah, and after all, he did create the High Lords of Terra. This question comes from Skill Ganon the Damned.
Ooh.
If an orc, let's call him Gutspilla, decides to get freaky with a captured Tau Fire warrior because funny, what kind of offspring would he produce? And would Gutspilla find it tasty to eat or leave him reaching for the hot sauce? I think we already answered this question.
Yeah, but orcs don't reproduce like that. They do it via spores.
Yes. So the orc would release a bunch of spores into, what did you
Tau.
say, a Tau? And then the Tau would be eaten alive from the inside.
Basically, tiny Gretchen or whatever comes before Gretchen and Grotz.
Right.
Yeah. This one's by Ifid and War. Tell us some embarrassing stories about yourselves.
I don't have anything embarrassing that happened to me except every time I post a video.
Here's one, a quick one. Back in 5th grade, we used to have a rabbit. That was like the class pet. And it turned out it was my turn to take care of this rabbit for a week. So I was cleaning its cage, and I stepped on its little water bottle. I fell directly onto the poop of this rabbit. And everybody thought I shit myself. And I didn't want anybody knowing, so I just kind of played it off as like, oh, it's just water. It just smells bad. And I would sit in the middle of a rug. There was literally like a 2-foot diameter around me where the rest of the kids were just like, I'm not going to sit next to this guy.
That sucks, man.
So yeah, rabbit poop on my booty was not fun at all. And then I stayed like that for like an hour. Since it was time to go home, there was like no point for me to...
Tell anybody?
Yeah. It's like, I'm only going to have to smell bad for an hour, then I can go home. Yeah.
This question comes from Kent Maddox. Do you think the Fallen and Cypher may be the good guys all along, and the Unforgiven bad, pulling the wool over the eyes of the Imperium? So let's answer that.
That'd be pretty cool. I actually think so. I feel like the Unforgiven are actually like secret traitors. I don't know. I had more going, but I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. I need to read up more on the Fallen and whatnot, but that would be really cool to have them have like the regular Dark Angels be possessed by Zinch or something. Mm-hmm. And do you think that the Alpha Legion are good in secret, pulling the wool over the eyes of chaos?
What's this with pulling wool over eyes, man?
Yeah, I also think that the Alpha Legion is probably a good thing.
Not only do I think that, I want it to be true. I want the Alpha Legion to be good guys, and hopefully they could strike from the inside, like backstabbing Abaddon or something.
Yeah, and they're going to be good not in the sense where like the Salamanders are good. They're going to be good in the sense that like we know what's best for you, so we did all these bad things,
right? So
that you can survive longer.
True. It's like killing 1,000 to save 1,000,000 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Keith Parrish, do you think the lore of 40K is one of the best, with having so much history and such a wide range of races?
I know so much about Warhammer 40K that my answer would be yes, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Star Wars people that know the lore behind Star Wars, and they have way more like books and movies and stuff like that, comic books.
Less plot holes and all that.
Right, so my answer would be biased, so I'm just going to say yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good. It really helps get you involved into the actual characters and the actual game. Because if 40K didn't have any good lore, it wouldn't have the following that it does now. It's like saying, oh, I only play the game because it's fun, but it's like, it's fun because you have all this backstory to it.
Yeah. And the whole rumors about GW and 8th edition giving out free codexes and free rule books, that scares the shit out of me. Because I really think that if they do that, because we're not paying for the lore is just going to stagnate. Mm-hmm. And it's just going to be... But who knows if that's true, because I think they're making a lot of money from the... what is it called? The...
Start collecting?
No, the whole scenario where they come out with 3...
Oh, the Triumvirate or whatever?
Yeah, but that whole storyline.
The Gathering Storm.
The Gathering Storm, yeah. They're making a lot of money from that. Because it's like you're buying codexes every couple months. Mm-hmm. Next question.
Run, Azazel, run. Without being able to warp travel, how long do you think it would take for the Tau to become advanced enough to be a legitimate threat to the entire galaxy, rather than just on the eastern fringe? A long time, actually, because basically they've got to make everything in their direction Tau controlled. So you got to take over all the planets there, because you need to have refueling stations, you need to have colony planets, you need to have agricultural worlds, so you could keep on thriving and surviving. But I don't see that as a good way of becoming a major threat. They need some kind of warp travel in order to be that threat.
Yep. But I do think that they're going to find a race, or they already have a race that is psychic, and that it's going to give them the power to warp travel. Mm-hmm. But that's if GW ever wants to pay attention to the Tau army. I got a question from Gad Yarvi. Where does orc technology come from? Is it passed down through teachings from mech boy to mech boy, or is it something inherently imprinted in the mech boy's mind? And why doesn't Pharaoh Orcs have the capacity of making their own shooters, sluggers, or etc.? So orc comes from inside. Mm-hmm. So the way orc society works is that there's odd boys, and these odd boys are basically just like your specific, like you'll be an orc with a specific task imprinted in their genes. So just like we don't need to think about breathing, orcs don't need to think about whatever their odd boy specialty is. So like if an odd boy is born and he's a mech boy, then he's gonna have that inherent or that innate ability to create bolters and all that kind of stuff. So what you have with Pharaoh Orcs is you have a population of people with the inherent genetic ability to survive in the wild without advanced technology. So they gather. And then if a mech boy is born, or an odd boy who has the mech boy ability is born, then he would either separate himself from that clan, because you got to remember orc society is about conflict, or he'll create a weapon to kill most of the people around him, and he'll rise up, and then more
orcs will join his cause.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's just like that.
This next one is by Harry Boylan. In the grimdark future of 40K, can you think of any events that have a happy ending? The only one I can think of is when the Blood Angels were going up against the Necrons, and then the Tyranids came in, and they're like, hey, let's call a truce, because we have this big Tyranid threat. So after they got rid of the Tyranids, they're just like, you know what? You fought nobly alongside me. Let's just, pound it, and let's go on our merry ways. I don't know why at all this happened. This makes no sense lore-wise. Why would a Xenos-hating Imperium, Blood Angel actually, let the Necrons leave? It's like, oh, the Tyranids are, fighting. They're narrowing down their numbers. Let's hit them while they're down. Same thing for the Necrons. They want to take control of the universe. There's two big threats right there. Let's eliminate them. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it's a happy ending because nobody dies except the Tyranids.
This question comes from Jockstrap.
Jockstrap.
Yeah. Would you guys like GW to release a book series detailing the war in heaven, or would you prefer the keep the old ones shrouded in mystery? So let's answer that real quick.
I definitely want some lore on the war in heaven.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. To learn more about the old ones and to learn more about the Necrons.
The Catan and all that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I don't think they'll do that because the way GW is set up is, or like, they have a huge timeline. So like to go from the Gathering Storm and then jump back to the War in Heaven, I think not that many people would be interested in the War in Heaven. But who knows? And then he has also, have any weapons used by the old ones survived to the 41st millennium? The Webway.
Yeah. Maybe the Golden Throne, if that is supposed to be a weapon, or if that is even made by the old ones.
Exactly, yeah. So there is. Last question.
Stanislav M. Why don't Chaos Gods make their champions directly into Demon Princes?
They gotta prove themselves.
Yeah, even though they're champions, they still may have not, proved themselves enough. Another thing is, maybe, for example, you need Karn to stay as Karn. Maybe having, like, Karn into a Demon Prince would be an actual liability on him. Also, if he's mortal, you don't have to go back into the warp and wait thousands of years. You can just keep on, making your nastiness throughout the galaxy, without having to worry about needing a warp tear to come out.
Exactly. Thank you for sending those questions our way, guys. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Keep on liking, sharing, and subscribing. We're steadily rising up once again. We're coming off of that little plateau. Don't forget to share so you can spread the epicness that is 40K, especially since there's a new edition coming out. Hit us up on our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook pages. Don't forget, we do have a Patreon page where you guys can support us for only $1 a month. That's like a McDouble every month.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, thanks guys. As always, I'm the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are going to McDonald's.